Recently, I've been in the market for a new monitor, and when I saw the Dell P2414H on sale for $180, I thought, wow, I've got to get this thing. And then I read a review on TFT Central about how good it was. I thought, this is the absolute best bargain of a lifetime. However, when I got the monitor in and I ran it through its paces, there was one problem that really is going to hold me back from recommending this monitor. So let's find out what it is. So my history with monitors is not too complicated. I'm very value for money orientated when it comes to buying a monitor, and I currently own a 27-inch Korean panel, which over a year has been serving the purposes as being a main desktop monitor very well. However, recently I've been in the market for a new monitor, especially as a backdrop monitor and a monitor for doing tutorials for you guys. And so therefore it has to have anti-glare properties or a good AG coating. And that's when I pulled the Dell out of the box, I immediately noticed that the anti-glare coating on this monitor is very good. It does a fantastic job of blocking out pretty much all reflections. Not only that, the bezel around it is also really good as well. It doesn't reflect any light as well. It's a nice matte black that is just non-reflective pretty much. Also the OSD, the buttons, everything on this monitor was very good. Until I noticed one big problem, and you guys probably want to know what that is, so we'll get straight onto it. And it's a thing called cross-hatching. And I didn't even know what this problem was until I got this monitor. And but before we get into this review, I'm going to say that it could just be limited to my sample. I'm not too sure, but it's going to be the main reason, or it's the only reason why I'm going to be returning this monitor. Because for me, I'm just getting OCD about it and it's becoming unbearable, especially when I compare it side by side to the 27-inch Korean panel, which is just absolutely gorgeous. So what exactly is cross-hatching? Well, I actually fully don't understand what it is yet. There's not a lot of articles out there to explain what it is, but in my understanding, I think of it as pretty much stitching behind your picture. And in this case, when I have an orange backdrop, it feels like someone's put like a green stitched linen cloth behind it, and it's very annoying. So anyway, I'll quickly show you guys what the problem looks like with my camera, even though I'm not sure if it'll pick it up fully. So for this test, I'm going to run the monitor at 3 different refresh rates with everything else in this room being static. So the lighting, the camera position. And so what this means is if you can't pick it up on the camera, I'll compare the images, the 3 images side by side, and if there's a difference, then that essentially means there's a difference on the monitor side of things. So anyway, this is the first issue here. Is 60 Hertz is that I can see this sort of like these slight green lines, these faint green lines behind the orange image. And if I do that on my Korean panel, they just go away, like they're not there on the Korean panel. And so that means this problem is inherent to this panel. And the funny thing is if you overclock this monitor to 75 Hertz, so if I put the refresh rate up to 75 Hertz, then you'll see that essentially it's just like, it just gets worse. It's unbearable at 75 Hertz. I mean, I can clearly notice this cross-stitching issue at 75 Hertz. Though the ironic thing is if we downclock this monitor, so if we go to the refresh rate and we downclock it to 45 Hertz, then the cross-hatching issue just completely goes away. Like it's not even there. So this is how the monitor should be at 60 Hertz in my opinion. And so I don't know, I think maybe something in my monitor is being overworked. And I don't know if this affects every other P2414H. But anyway, let's get back to the review. So I'm not too sure if this cross-hatching problem is just limited to my monitor. It may affect other Dell monitors, I'm not too sure, and I'm honestly not willing to try. Though if you do get a Dell monitor and it doesn't have a cross-hatching problem, then I can say that it's a fantastic monitor. I mean, the input lag was extremely low. When I tested it against the Korean panel, it beat that on both the DVI ports. When I tested it against the Acer panel, across both DVI ports, it beat that as well. So it was extremely good in terms of input lag, extremely low. Also, the response rates for an IPS panel, man, it was more responsive than my Korean panel. And this is a great thing for gamers. So for gamers looking for an IPS panel, this thing is a win, especially at a low price point. So I'm kind of left in a sort of a dilemma where I wish this problem of cross-hatching never existed. Though looking at the monitor itself with the build quality, what you're getting here is actually a pretty well built monitor that's also actually lightweight. I was surprised. Dell have really nailed it when it comes to the build quality. I love the bezel. I love that it's this plastic, it's lightweight, but it's still sturdy. And everything doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels really good on this monitor. The anti-glare coating, that is pretty good as well. I was surprised. I mean, it just blocks out pretty much all the light. When I was showing you guys the BIOS shots in my vlog, I thought, wow, that's actually some of the best picture I've got from a monitor on my camera in my life. So I was really pleased with that. So for connectivity, Dell has done a pretty good job here as well. You get a display port and a VGA port, which the cables for those are included with the monitor. And you also get a DVI-D port, which the cable wasn't included, though you do get a DVI-D adapter, I believe. Also, there is a power cable included, and there's also 3 USB 2 ports as well. So connectivity is pretty good on this monitor, though you don't have an HDMI port, so that's something to keep in mind. The on-screen display on this monitor as well is actually pretty good. There's lots of options to choose from. You've also got, you can change the colors, you can change the contrast, you can change the brightness, you can set it whether it can automatically swivel or not, and you can also choose from a different range of presets there, which are actually pretty good. I found warm to be the closest to a balanced picture in my opinion out of the colors, though the standard was actually pretty good for gaming. I actually preferred the standard profile picture to the actual gaming profile picture. And all these selections don't make a difference to input lag as well, so that's something to keep in mind. Also, there's the option to select which input you like, or you can just leave it to auto, which works fine as well. The monitor also has an automatic power savings feature, which will power down the monitor if it's not in use as well. So then there's the mounting options. The stand that they include is quite frankly really good. I was surprised. It's lightweight and it also allows you to adjust the height, you can adjust the swivel, and you can adjust the tilt. So it's a 3-way adjustable stand and it does a fantastic job without making any noises and being easy to use. Also, if you want to mount this via the VESA mounting, you can do that, as I've done this with here. It's got the 4 screw holes, which will just pretty much make it a breeze to mount on because it's a lightweight monitor. And so I've got it actually mounted to a monitor stand at the moment, and it's really good. So in conclusion, what can I say about the Dell P2414H? Well, I'm quite sad because if this cross-hatching problem didn't exist, I would be a very happy customer. I'd be over the moon. I think it's a fantastic monitor just besides the cross-hatching issue. I love the anti-glare properties, and I'm usually not an anti-glare guy. I'm usually a big fan of gloss. And this anti-glare is so good. I'm really impressed with it. It does a great job of blocking out light, but still giving out a good picture. So Dell have done a good job there. They've done a good job with the build quality. I think it's a great monitor. They've done a good job with the actual panel implementation in the response times. The input lag is extremely low. And for an IPS panel, it's got some really good response times. So kudos to Dell for getting that right, though there's just one problem, and that's the cross-hatching. And I don't know why this exists, but I'm willing to bet that something in the monitor is being overworked at the native spec. Because when I downclocked it to 45 Hz, the problem didn't exist. And so I'm going to not recommend this monitor unless you can get verified that it doesn't have this cross-hatching problem. If you can verify that it doesn't have the cross-hatching problem before you buy it, then I can highly recommend this monitor, as it's a great balanced monitor for gaming, for doing tutorials, for having it as a backdrop, whatnot. It's such a fantastic balanced 1080p monitor. And at 24-inch, I think it's a great sweet spot if you're just sitting at a desk playing a lot of MOBA games, playing a lot of RTS games as well. And so I find 27-inch kind of to be a bit too big, especially for MOBA on a desk. So anyway, that's my review of the Dell P2414H. If you have any questions or comments about this monitor, then please drop a comment in the comment section below. Though unfortunately, I will be returning this monitor, and I don't think I'll be trying my luck again, as I would just rather buy a trusty Korean monitor. So anyway guys, that's it from me today. If you have any questions about the Dell P2414H, then drop a comment in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, then hit that like button and subscribe to Tech Yes City, baby. And I will catch you guys in another tech video very soon. Oh yeah, and there's also the Facebook and Twitter and also Patreon links there if you want to support the channel and keep it sponsor free. Anyway guys, I'll catch you in another tech video very shortly. Peace out for now. Bye. However, I'm just going to go test it right now and see if it does block out or does reduce the blue light coming out of the monitor. And the good thing about this test is, even though it's like ghetto science, it will give you accurate results, as we see here, because the camera is on the exact same exposure.